Well, we made it to part 3, Pacific and Mountain Views from our Scenic paper packs. Let's take a look at what I have for you. Hello, scrapbookers and creative friends. I'm Linda Petuch, Creative Memories Independent Advisor in Jupiter, Florida. Welcome to Thursday Thoughts, and today we are at part 3 of the Scenic collections that Creative Memories created for us. And today in part 3 we're going to talk about mountain views and Pacific scenes. And I am very excited to share what I've come up with for you. So let's get started. I will take you to the mountains. Well, this is the cover page of the Mountain Scenes paper pack, and you see there's one beautiful scenic thing there, and then all these double-sided papers. They also have a sticker pack, which I don't have any left, so I have a sticker pack. And with this particular collection, they also paired this beautiful bridge and trees punch. But I have to be honest, I forgot that I had this when I was making these pages, and I was so into the forest that I didn't really think about this. Had I thought about it, we went to the gorgeous Japanese garden in Portland, Oregon. That would have been a lovely punch to have, but I didn't have it, and those pages are finished. But I promise you, when I play with my punches again to do a border bonanza, I will work with this one. But let's go ahead and let's get started and see what I created with the mountain scenes. You can see that this punch is an edge punch, and these punches in these collections that they've done have these wonderful edges, which is really nice. Just another little special touch. They are outdoing themselves with these gorgeous things they're making for us. So besides the paper pack, they each had a recipe template, which was also paired with it. And this particular one, Mountains and Trees, I decided to do it a couple different ways. Now, you know that when you look at this, you don't have to make every single cut that's there. You can look at different sections, and you can see things that you'd like to make. And do you see how there's kind of like a frame all the way around the edge? Sometimes I leave that space. Sometimes I add strips of paper to make a frame around the edge there. It's totally up to you. But you can see how they focused on different sections of this. So I did this 2 ways. One, I did some paper cutting. I'll show you that first. So in this one, I cut the blue sky, but left the white. I put this on white cardstock. So then I just left the white, like the mountaintops of the snow-capped mountains, and added a little touches of blue there with the Creative Memories pen. And then I decided to use this designer paper to represent the trees that are up against the mountain. And then for the sun, I did cut it with yellow, and I used the custom cutting system and cut this with the smallest circle and the red blade. So I decided to do that, and then I decided it looked a little too much like the moon. I wanted it to be the sun. So then I took the Creative Memories pen, and I used my little trusty sponges and the Creative Memories pens, and just added a little bit of color to that. At the base, rather than cut those strips of paper by hand as far as tracing, I used the decorative trimmer, and I just cut 3 strips of blue cardstock at the base, and then use the little embellishments. See you at the top. This was the gorgeous drive up, and here we are with my brother and sister-in-law and our son, our oldest son, Eric, at Mount St. Helen. This was back in 2018, and it was beautiful to be there. Just gorgeous scenery everywhere. But you see, this is all one piece. Here, the mountain piece is all one piece. And then, of course, these would be individual. So you can get as detailed as you want or not. But I decided I do love to paint with these recipe templates. So that's the one I'm going to show you next. So I cut 1 strip of paper for the base with the Victorian blade. Okay, so this will be my place that I would put photos. But here's how I did this. I just, again, used the Creative Memories pens and all these different all the different sponges. I have a different sponge for every color. I used the little silver shimmer for the tops of the mountains. And then just like I did on the other sun, but this I did right on the white cardstock. I didn't do it on a separate piece of paper. So I just clipped the recipe template to it, and then I just sponged it. And then after I did it, I thought, it needs a little more refining. So I kind of thought like a stained glass window. I decided that I would outline, so I just used the fine point of the Creative Memories black pen, and I just outlined it a bit so it makes it a little more detailed. And I honestly am very happy with the way this turned out. Minimal cutting. I cut one base for all the photos. So don't hesitate to use these templates. It adds a gorgeous picture background for you, but you don't have to use it exactly the way actually it was designed to be used different ways. So enjoy it and use it. Go for it. Now let's look at my pages. I'm going to start with the Scenic paper first, because today I did it a little differently. So you know how, if you remember, normally I will cut an inch off each one, and then whatever's left in the middle, I divide it in half and spread it across. But I decided I wanted to do it a little differently today. So I just cut it so that I cut it like 3 inches off over here. That could be 4. Well, what am I doing? I can just measure right here. It is the 3.5 inches, and then the remainder I put that on the left side. Then on the right side I put the rest of it, and then I took this paper that I really like, this design paper. So then I used a strip of it over here. This is on a hot fudge. Both of them are on hot fudge cardstock, because remember, you're not going to have a full 12-inch page, so you want to use a base. So I used the hot fudge cardstock, dark green for the mats. And this way you can really still enjoy this beautiful scene. I added one little embellishment here up on foam squares, and I added enough for you to put 5 photographs. This could also be a journal box. This could be a journal box, whatever you wish. Well, any of them could be journal boxes, however you wish. But I thought that would be a little different way to do it, but still look at that beautiful paper and be able to enjoy it and enhance your photos. So that's how I did this one. Now, this next one I'm going to show you is kind of like a series of pages that I'll use in top loading pockets. So I love this, like a tree cookie, giant tree cookie. So I used that paper, and I put this beautiful plaid on there, put a little embellishment in the middle. Then when you turn the page, here's the other Scenic page, because you get 2 copies. Because I decided I would love to use that for a title page. I think yellow stickers or this kind of brown letter stickers at the top would be really, really beautiful. Made a little border at the base, but you've got all this beautiful dark green here. So of course this cardstock looks great with it. Then when you turn, now remember this would be top loading. When you turn the page then, this is the back of the Scenic, and I thought I really want to pick up on that. And we have these sticker strips that come with the collection. I thought that's what I'm going to do. So here's another double page that you can use for this one, and then of course back here will just be the blue cardstock that you can decorate however you wish. But if you had a series of 1, 2, 3 top loading pages, then you would have that design together and have another way to use this. I think this would be like for an excursion or a celebration, be a lovely place to put a title and then enjoy that scenery. You could, of course, add photos if you wanted to, maybe in a couple of places, but I do love that. Just sets the tone for your trip to the mountains. Let's look at the next one. So this, I was playing with this, I love this gray paper, and the flip side has the mountain range on there. So I decided I would fold it, but I would fold it from the base, so that I made like a border of the mountain ranges, as a ready-made border. Put it on the baby blue cardstock, which was not one of the, I don't think that was one of the colors that was listed on the cover of the paper, but I liked it. I thought it looked good. And then I kind of wanted to have like a cloud feeling at the top. So I used this, which is this one, the Rainbow Ripple. I thought that would be nice to add that to the top and make it feel kind of like clouds. And look at all the space that you have for your photos. And this, of course, is on the cardstock. Embellishments are up on foam squares. Okay, this was that design I used for the recipe template. I love that, like little baby trees. And I put some mountains and a mountain goat and a little deer, I guess that is, not an elk, looks like a deer. The mountains are calling, and got some mountains over here. This is a strip at the bottom and a strip at the top. I believe that might be the same paper. It is, okay? So I had like a 4-inch strip, which I cut in half, flipped one over, and that way I have it. And then that ties in all those designs together. This is on the, I want to say gray, not beige. It might be beige cardstock, but I think it's beautiful and then sets a big stage for your photos. On this one, I decided to use the avocado cardstock, and I love this design. This is the flip side of the design. So I did a folded page on this side, but then for the left side, I cut a strip, the 4-inch strip, cut it in half, flipped one over, so that you still get both of those designs, but just a little bit different way to do it. Added a few sticker embellishments, and there we go. Again, this is the avocado cardstock. And the last page that I have, okay, yes, all right. So I decided with all these pine trees and pine cones, I had to get one of my all-time favorite. This is the spiky evergreen chain, which I believe just came out. Again, Bordermaker cartridge. But I love this. I use it for holidays, but for anytime there's a pine tree around, this is a great punch to have. And so what I did was I decided I wanted to add that with the dark green cardstock. So I made a frame here, cut it out, flip this over. This is the flip side of it, so that and I decided to make this, you have the same design here and here, but then on the flip side, there's the flip side of it, and I use strips of paper because this is where I mitered it together. So in order to cover up those tape chips, I did the wider strip of paper, and then you have this. So you could choose this as your double page or the other. Use it in top loading pockets, and you've got some beautiful designs together. This could easily stand alone. Both of them could stand alone because when you put them side by side, this is together, then this will be the page before, and then this would be your last page on the left. In any case, it carries that whole beautiful idea of the mountains and scenery in the mountains, which I think is very, very pretty. So there's that, and now let's take a look at my Pacific scenes. I forgot to share with you, I have a couple of borders with a few pieces of paper I had left. This is from the mountains, so I have a single one here. Again, I used my trimmings from the evergreen, spiky evergreen. I used the trimmings to add here. Here's a double, you could use for a double page spread. And then I had these few little stickers, and I thought I'd make a little embellishment with that. I just put this on the 12-inch trimmer where the diagonal is and cut the 45-degree angle. But just a few left because I primarily made pages for all of those. Now we're going to look at the Pacific. Okay, so you notice the deep blues. I am an Atlantic coast girl. I've always lived in the Atlantic coast of the United States, but I have been to the Pacific, and I'm telling you, that is the deepest blue I've ever seen in my life. So notice all these deep, deep blues, just gorgeous. And I could not wait to get this little whale tail punch, so I am so happy that we have it. I have been whale watching a couple of times. I would go again in a heartbeat. I just love it. So that's the whale tail, and as you can see, it also is an edge punch. So you can make it as thick or as thin as you'd like, but just adorable. I just love it. All right, and then on the papers again, you have, this one did not have a Scenic paper per se, so I did make a lot of different double page layouts, which I will show you. And I don't know if I made any borders, to be honest, because I got so carried away with the double pages. But first, let me show you the recipe template. Okay, so whale tail, again, I could not wait to get my hands on this. And as you see, just like all the other recipe templates, you can focus on different sections however you want to do it. This is what I did. So this was from the first time I went whale watching, and this was in San Francisco. So I took a picture of the sign to have that, and we didn't get to see any whales breaching, but we did get to see them out there. So I will take whatever I can get because I just love them. So and this was my daughter and my son and daughter-in-law, and we were out in the boat. It was a very overcast day, but that was not going to rain on my parade. I didn't care. I was too happy. So I used this whole section of the recipe template to make one whole piece of paper, and then I cut it, I traced it and cut it, added some little enhancement with a blue Creative Memories pen, and then I decided I loved this striped paper for underneath the whale's tail, but they do have little designs on their tails. As a matter of fact, that's how scientists identify them, is by the markings on their tails. So this is not a real whale, obviously. This is my whale that I invented. And then so I added a little bit of color there, and then these were the strips of the deep blue. I think this was navy. I don't think this was blue. I think this was navy. This is baby blue. Maybe it is blue. In any case, and you see how I said sometimes I leave that little edge on there, but this time I decided I would use the, I think this was the pinking blade with the 12-inch trimmer, because I decided I wanted to finish it and frame it and not just have a white frame around it. These are very flexible to do as much or as little as you want, but it's just a beautiful memory. And I've already finished my albums from this trip and the Portland trip. However, I'm creating albums, things we do and places we go and people we love. So this will definitely be either in the things we do or places we go. So I'm not going to waste it. I had these extra photos, so that's what I'm going to do. And I love the way it turned out. So now let's look at some other pages. Okay, so on this one, I decided to make my folded page on one side and my frame on the other side. And this, oh yeah, I did it on white cardstock. Okay, so because I can't really show you the frame, and I've been talking about it every time, and I know I did have a video about doing the frame, I thought I would very quickly cut a frame for you just so that you can see it and you don't have to go searching back. I don't mind if you go watch all my videos and subscribe and do all that, but I think I'll just do it for you very quickly. So I'm going to use this striped paper like I have here. I love this paper design. I think not only is it's very neutral, but also it's a great journal box. So I'm going to cut this, a little busy on the other side, but I'm going to cut this into a frame, and I'm going to show you just how quickly and easily we can do this. Okay, you see I have added some more dimensions on there, and I have found so that I have some of this paper, enough of it visible in the middle. After I cut the frame, I generally like to do like 1.5 inches. So that would mean you need to line it up at 1.5 inches here. And this, you see the white line on here? This is 1 inch in, that mark right there, and that's where the blade begins cutting. And it's on both sides. Okay, so you can see it on both sides. And because you're not all the way to the end, you can still see the markings. So I'm going to 1.5, and then I can find the 1.5 here, and I'm going to start from 1.5, and I will stop at 10.5 down here. So that's 1.5 and 1.5 to 1.5. Okay, don't move this because I'm trying to demonstrate for you. Okay, so after you do that first cut, you're just going to lift it up. Make sure you line it up again, 1.5 and 1.5, and then you're going to start cutting. This won't cut until you push down on it. So you want to line that up, 1.5, and remember we're stopping at 10.5, which is 1.5 inches in. And we turn it again. Once you, you can practice this, practice it maybe with a piece of that cardstock that comes with the paper, so that you don't worry about wasting your designer paper if you mess up. Have I messed up? Oh yeah, I definitely have, but it's okay. All is forgiven. Once you learn it, you're gonna love it. And you can of course change the width of the frame however you want. But We're sticking with 1.5 for now. 1.5 to 10.5. And once you get going, you can actually see where it's cut. It's easier to see. All right. Then you remove your cutter. And then here you have your frame and the other design. Isn't that so fun? It really is such a nice thing. You just flip it over, and then you have 2 designs for one. And if you, like I did on that one page, you can miter it together with tape chips, and then cover that with strips of paper or something you punch, and then you'll have the same, well, opposite design, I should say, on the other side. So you can decide whether you want the busier frame and the calmer center or vice versa. But it's a really fun way to get good designs out of one sheet of paper. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love that 12-inch trimmer. If you don't have one, you need to treat yourself. Okay, on to my next page. Gotta get my whales in here. Okay, so you know I'm crazy for blue, so I really enjoyed working with all these blues here. I totally dedicated this to whale watching, and I use this plaid paper. Now, of course, it will be, to tie it in with this side, it will be calmed down when this is 4x4, so you'll cut your photo like a little bit less than that. 4x6, 6x4, you'll cut that a little bit less. But again, thinking about how they added the little punch at the top during the virtual crop, I thought, oh, I'm going to add at least a little whale tail there. But I just think it's so fun to do that. And I tied the baby blue over here onto this side. Because it was a blue base, I decided to let those little whale tails stand out there. Anyway, love that. And this is on blue, the blue cardstock. Going to the woods now, the Pacific Northwest woods. And here we have, see, I used another strip of that paper for a journal box. I didn't put a lot of mats, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Okay, so this is folded up, and so I put it on the hot fudge cardstock, which just happens to be the same color of the moose and the bear and the wings on the eagle. And again, there comes my little spiky evergreen. I just think it's so apropos and so pretty, and it just makes me happy. So this I did not fold. Instead, what I did is I cut and I mitered, just flipped it over and mitered it on here. I did mount it on white cardstock. Had I not done that, I could have used the flip side and put a border, a more solid border. But there's that one, Timber and Trails. Our little bird. Here's another one. It's beautiful, Cascade Peaks. You know, when you see the gorgeous forests in the Pacific Northwest, it is just breathtaking. So that's exactly what I thought when I saw this. So this is cut and flipped over. This is the flip side of that paper. See? It's the flip side, and I just put it on the little white cardstock, flipped it over, but it frames it really nicely and gives you a great landing place for your to have your embellishments. Oh, and what I was going to say, I had a friend who bought some of my pre-made pages, and she said, oh yeah, she said, I was getting my pictures ready, and then I realized that because they already had the mats, I had to decide which pictures I wanted to do. So I've decided I'm not going to put the mats on. If I will put these on, some of these on my website, and when I do, I will include mats, but I won't adhere them down, so it's a little bit more flexible. Because sometimes you're not exactly sure which pictures you are going to choose if you're pre-making your pages, but it sure is nice to have the pre-made pages. Okay, one of the most impressive things about being in the Northwest are the gorgeous waterfalls. So of course these had to be vertical borders because I've got these breathtaking, gorgeous waterfalls, and I decided that I could use this. Has all those wonderful words about the Northwest, but I decided by toning it down with the cardstock mats, that would be good. So I did use them on here, added a little sticker embellishment here, a couple of the embellishments, or they're stickers really, that I put up on foam squares, and either one of these could stand alone as far as that goes. But again, because I did the same border, you could probably use it that way. And have them complement each other. And that is what I have for you. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed part 3, Mountain Scenes in Pacific. Thank you for sticking around and watching all 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3. I hope you've gotten some of those supplies, because I'm telling you, I have had the best time creating things. I think you will too. If you try that the 12-inch trimmer to make a frame, let me know how it goes. I bet you'll do great. And it'll be something that you can enjoy and make more frames for a lot of your collections. It'll be great. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate you subscribing. Click that bell and you'll find out when my next video is going to be presented. If you have an advisor, please shop with your advisor. If you don't have one, please pick me. I would love to be your advisor. I will have links in my description below. If you have any questions or comments, just put them there. I am happy to answer any questions that you have. So, until next time, happy scrapbooking.